All right, everybody, welcome back to another live broadcast from Studio B here in Fort Myers. We have a bunch of updates for you regarding the hurricane and the hurricane cleanup and the hurricane details and everything that's going on with the Hurricane Ian that made an unwelcome arrival to our hometown here. The first thing is I talked to the fire chief, and we talked to the fire chief, and because there was a question of how do we alert how do we alert the teams that are going in door to door that there's nobody in there, that they don't want them breaking down their home, and they don't want them ransacking their residence. And so the chief was very detailed about the professionalism of the team. He said that the only reason they're going to go into a home would be if there was reasonable belief that there might be a live person in there or a deceased person in there. These teams that they have, he called them the Florida U.S. AR teams. Totally professional. They take into account if there is a person in the residence that's not alive, that they deal. There's dignity involved in how they take care of the residents. And they just want you to know that it's not like a SWAT thing that they're breaking down the doors and they're going into.
He said that they're very highly trained, that they've done this a lot. They have dogs, victim dogs, and dogs that find people who have not survived. And so that they have some skill and training in knowing what homes to go into, what apartments to go into, and what ones not to go into, and that they are doing this with the utmost care, concern for the property and the people all involved.
Now, Dan Allers is on the phone with us. And Dan, is there anything that you wanted to add to that? Because I'm sure you spoke to the chief about it. We had 5 or 6 people earlier today worry that their homes are going to be, not broken into, but that it was more damage was going to be done after the storm.
Well, I'm glad you started with that, Ed. Again, thanks for having me on. I have not had a chance to talk to Chief Martin. He's obviously very busy. But I have spoken with enough people, and I've witnessed today how they interact with the public, how they're dealing with this house to house. They are not, as you said, breaking into houses. I've had several people reach out to me as well, worried that they're just going to kick the doors in and they're going to throw people off the island, and that is the furthest thing from the truth. They're doing their jobs. They're looking for people, survivors that need help. They're looking for non-survivors to get them out, so that the next step can begin. But by no means are they just kicking indoors and going in. If your home is secure, if your home is locked, they're not going to just kick in the door. They're not going to come and put you in cuffs and haul you away and tell you got to get off the island. So those are the 2 big things that I've heard of over the last 24 hours. Is people think that they're going to be forced to leave. That's not the case. If you do leave the island, you're probably not going to get back on. More than likely, you're not going to get back on until the all clear is given, that the search and rescue is done. So just keep that in mind. There are still MREs at the old Tops property. There's food there. There's now showers that should be operational tomorrow. There's trailers there. There are some trailers there also for sleeping quarters. I don't know if that's going to be open to just anyone to use it at this point, that is kind of without a place to sleep. I'm going to try to get some more detail on that tomorrow, but those trailers have been moved into the Tops property, hoping that they're going to be operational tomorrow.
So just to put the finishing touches on what we started off with, the teams, Chief said the teams are from Virginia, Texas, Ohio, Indiana. So they're coming from all, I'm sure locally, they're coming from all over the place. And he also said, which was great news for people that are concerned that this is going to take a long time. He said 35. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, today was the first day that I was able to the first day that I left to try to go and get a shower and regroup to get back. And just leaving to go find a shower, I passed 4 trucks from Virginia, as you said, Texas, that were all search and rescue. that are still coming to the island. So if that doesn't tell anybody that's listening the magnitude of what is actually going on, I don't know what else will. But I personally passed 4 trucks today that were turning off of Pine Ridge Road, and they were clearly marked as to who they were, and they're heading towards the beach. So there is, the island today, there was not a lot of people walking up and down the island, but the amount of sirens, the amount of emergency vehicles, sorry, the dogs
No worries.
a moment, but the amount of emergency vehicles, the amount of police, the amount of just search and rescue, it's astonishing to see the way that they have it set up. They have a command center set up at where the old Sunset Grill used to be. They have tents set up. They have places for the workers to, regroup, get something to eat, to drink. They're working very hard. They're working around the clock. Having the space now is certainly helping speed up the process. So people just need to be patient, understand that there's loved ones out there that are still looking for the people that they can't get in contact with. They may never speak to them again. So that's what this is about. This is about making sure we can account for as many people as possible to let their family members know, to give some closure if that's the case. Hopefully find people that are still there that we could safely get back to their families. So as much as we all want to get to our houses, myself included, and start the cleanup process and try to salvage what we can, we have to respect the process that these guys have to go through to be able to get us to that point.
Hey, Dan, I just wanted to someone was typed in a question about at the base of the bridge there's those mobile home parks, and that there's a lot of older folks in there. Do you know if they're going to be also looking in there, or have they looked in there?
I don't know for sure. I was on San Carlos Island today. Noticed that they have cleared a path on Main Street. The boats have been moved out of the way.
Okay.
So they should be able to get some emergency vehicles in there. There's been, I could tell you, there's still a lot of looting going on, especially on San Carlos Island. If anybody's listening, I know it's very difficult to communicate. So if anybody's listening that can help out with that, the people on San Carlos Island, now that Fort Myers Beach has been pretty much closed down, there's looters coming very heavily onto San Carlos Island. There are people that are still missing there. I watched someone today right across from the shop that you guys have been to, where we're trying to stage some of these relief stuff, literally picked up a jet ski and put it on his trailer and tried to drive away. So in broad daylight, people are trying to do this. So San Carlos Island is having just as much of a problem now. If anybody's listening and can hear me, that's something that we have to pay some attention to. It's it's not Fort Myers Beach, but
Right.
this is not just about Fort Myers Beach. It's it's about trying to protect everybody.
So the other thing the chief told us, which is going to be good news to people who are worrying that they might be off the island for an extended period of time. In the 4 hours, he said 4 hours, but from 7:30 on Saturday to when we spoke to him a little while ago, he said 35% of the island is already complete, which is great news. I mean, it seems like he says it seems like things are moving along maybe a little faster than they thought, but certainly not slow. I mean, they're being detailed to make sure that, as he said, every one of our neighbors is found, whether they're found alive or they're found not alive, but with dignity, they're taken care of.
Well, and what I've noticed and what I've witnessed is that when they do walk down the streets, when there's not cars or there's people that are there, that when they find someone in a home where they find something that they need to get vehicles in to move debris to get people out, when there's nobody in the way, obviously it speeds things up, right?
Yep.
It makes
Yep.
it much more efficient. And what I noticed today when I went up and down the island is that that's what's happening. There's nobody, piling stuff up in the front of their house. It's allowing them to, I mean, these guys are walking. They're, some are on 4-wheelers, some are on side-by-side, some are in trucks. And when they find something, it is like the cavalry is coming. And when I say the cavalry, you've got ambulance, you've got front end loaders, you've got anything you can possibly, any kind of equipment you can imagine. They're coming to that street to do the best they can to either get the person out or retrieve the body. And you can imagine how difficult that is if it's congested with people.
Right.
You know, we all want to save our personal belongings and we all want to save our stuff. But at the end of the day, the reality is, you know, we can't replace a life.
So Dan, are they using dogs and stuff? Is that how they're going in with the dogs first?
Yeah, well, I didn't see any today, but yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Sorry, I think it was yesterday. We were passing the old Armandos, and there was a long line of rescue workers there, and they had 3 dogs out there. I believe it was 2 or 3 dogs out there, and they were on the pile and they were sniffing, and they were obviously finding something because there was a very good presence, and you could barely get by with a bicycle. I was on a bicycle, you could barely get by. So that tells you that when they find somebody, they're bringing in every resource they can. And that's why they needed to close the island. And that's why, you know, I completely support that decision. It's not probably the best thing that people want to hear, but I completely support the decision, because until we can finish that, we can't start to, we can't start to rebuild.
Dan, we there's somebody on the island right now that we know that lives down there that has been calling us and telling us some things that we're not going to share because we didn't see them with our own 2 eyes. We certainly trust her, but my point is that what she's saying is it's worse than people will imagine.
Well, I can tell you it's worse than people think. They're still searching, and you know, if Chief Martin says they're at 30-35% of the island, I 100% believe him. And if that's the case, it's definitely not going to get any better.
Right.
I've heard, you know, the stories that I've heard. I've heard so many stories over the last 3 days, and you know, we've all lost stuff, right? And for me, to try to keep going, I think about these stories, and sorry.
No, you can take a minute. I mean, Anita was on today, and I think she said that how many people, you know, there's quite a few people that she's known that did not survive.
She's
And
got
it's
11
just
so far.
11. And, you know, that's devastating. One is devastating, but you know, it is just hard to imagine. It's hard to sort of wrap your mind around the devastation that's occurred to homes and businesses and lives down there. And so just trying to get the word out to, you know, keep impressing upon people how, you know, difficult the situation is for everybody, and to please be patient, and to please, you know, help out wherever you can, whoever you can, whether it's Fort Myers Beach or Sanibel or
Pine Island. Yeah.
Any of the places that have been hit by this devastating storm.
I just hope that people that keep asking, when can I get back on the island? When can I get back on the island? Listen to this last segment here and realize what's going on down there. It's no joke. I mean, it's a house.
You can still, the helicopters are nonstop. They're flying supplies to Sanibel because, you know, you can't get there. You know, we're fortunate we still have a bridge, and we're able to get search and rescue on. Sanibel has to have, you know, helicopters flying over. And as I was trying to say earlier, you know, you listen to these stories and you hear about it, and you realize that, you know, we're still here. We're still able to call our loved ones. We're still able, you know, to call our daughters.
Right.
Lee County held a press conference earlier today, and Roger, the county manager, said that Fort Myers Beach has been decimated. He said it looks like a war zone, and he strongly encourages people to stay away. And he also said staying on Fort Myers Beach is dangerous. It's a public safety hazard, and they're uncertain about the number of fatalities. They said they have a number, but it's likely to go up. And they don't want people milling around because it impedes the response and recovery efforts. So everybody's saying that. I think everybody's starting to understand it. The chief said earlier today to us that he could see the difference in one day when, they made the blockade. They said you can't come back on. And he could see the difference. And it was helpful. He said it was helpful. It helped speed along the process.
Yeah. It wasn't a popular decision. It wasn't something that, when I heard the news, I knew wasn't going to be a very popular, decision. But I 100% agree that it was the right decision. I keep saying it, but they need to do their jobs. We all have material things that we would love to get out. Our house is still almost exactly the same way it was the day after the storm. And it's not that I couldn't have gone down there and started throwing things out. There's so much bigger things going on that, let's get the people out that we need to get out. Let's try to help the people that we can help. And then when we can open the island, we'll open the island. And then we'll all, as we always have, at least as long as I've been here, when something happens, this island comes together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And a couple things. Another reason I wanted to come back on tonight was because I got a message from Eric Tibbs at Kiwanis, who said that tomorrow, starting at 11 o'clock, all the clothes at the thrift store are being given away. There's nothing wrong with them. There's no reason for it. They weren't ruined or anything. They just want to give them away to the community. So starting at 11 o'clock, if you need clothing, if you need something that you know is at the thrift store, you can go to the thrift store starting at 11 o'clock tomorrow, and you can take what you need because people are going to need stuff. So I thought that was awesome for them to offer up.
Great. We often think about the first things you need are obviously food and water. You got to have that to be able to keep going, but you have to, in my opinion, you have to think ahead at this point. You have to think about, people know we need food and water. They're sending food and water. We're very appreciative. Now we're getting into that. We're going to need clothes. People are wearing, clothes that they've had on for 3 days because they didn't have enough clothes. So clothing is starting to become the very most popular thing. Very soon, when we're able to open up, it's going to be power tools. It's going to be things that we need to start to rebuild. Everybody, again, hundreds and hundreds of stories like myself. All of the stuff I had, I had enough stuff to build a home sitting in my garage, and I thought I had it high enough. Obviously, it wasn't high enough. And now everybody that had anything that they could use to build something is pretty much gone. So that's going to be, in my opinion, the next thing we're going to need. So, power tools, any kind of wheelbarrows, scrapers, shovels,
so
things like that.
I want to be a little more detailed on that, Dan, because and I apologize over and over again to everybody that I haven't been able to get back to between the instant messages and the texts and the phone calls. I try to get back to every single one. I don't know what the answer is if you want to help. I don't know. I don't know if you want to volunteer, like your body yourself. I think that you go to the Red Cross and you volunteer that way as far as that goes. What we're trying to do is gather the supplies. So if you we have the list of power supplies that Dan has mentioned, and we're going to put that up. And if you want to go on Amazon and you want to buy power tools that way and send them to our house, we'll store them and then we'll take them to the drop-off point, which is going to be close to the beach, so that when they can get back. And it would be great to have a crap load of power tools so that when they're ready to roll, all they need to do is go shopping right there for free and take it and go and start to rebuild. So we're going to put that up. If you're looking to volunteer yourself, I would say just go to the Red Cross and volunteer that way, because I don't know what to tell you about where you can go and help. We all want to help. Well, I want to help, but I don't know where to go either.
Well, we haven't, we haven't gotten to that point. Right. We've got a couple of days to, as you said, I think it's important now to build up as much as we can, so that when we've got so many people have graciously offered their time, their money, their resources, they're ready to get in here and they're ready to work. The town has the resources ready and willing to work. They're ready to come over the bridge the minute we get the all clear from the search and rescue. It's going to be very swift. It's going to be very intense. There's not any person I will personally turn away that's willing to come and help, whether you can run a shovel, whether you can run a frying pan, whether you can run whatever it is. I would not turn you away. I would, because everybody at this point is going to have a job. Everybody's going to need to work together. Every resource will be helpful. The sooner and the swifter we can do this, the better off we'll be. You know, I had someone ask me a question the other day, will Fort Myers Beach ever be back? Yesterday, as a matter of fact, it was someone, one of the people that I was talking with, and my answer was absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind. Fort Myers Beach will come back. It's still here. It's not going anywhere, but it's going to come back stronger and more fierce than it even was before, because people on this island, that whether you visit, own, whatever you are, whether you're
Vacation, yeah.
Whatever it is, I've heard from everyone, and everyone says the exact same thing. What can we do to help? Just let us know when it's time to go. But let's let these search and rescue people finish their job, and then it'll be time to go. And when it goes, we'll work together. We'll figure out, we're working on a plan now. The town's working on a plan. The town has a plan in place for what it needs to do as far as getting the debris cleaned up to get off the island, so that we can get these people that are willing to bring their tractors, their trucks, their front end loaders, their grills, their food trucks, anything they can do to help. We don't have a spot for it yet, as you saw, Ed. And Kim, there's
Right.
There's little. I mean, we have to get all that debris cleaned up, right? Yeah. So,
but it is going to be.
Get that done.
It is going to be sooner than They're working fast, and so if people can just get ready, get the supplies together, get the donations together, can have a holding place, and then everybody be ready when it's safe and it's clear to go down and just start, doing this cleanup, which that is going to take some time. It's going to take all the power tools, but it's also going to take garbage cans, garbage bags, cleaning stuff,
right.
and people power to get that done. So I know people are anxious, as are we, and the time is going to be soon. It's going to be right around the corner, and everybody's going to have to endure, because it's going to take some time to get this done.
We've had people just driving to our house from I don't know, from Miami, somebody from down in, just down the street, somebody
near and far.
Yeah. Just coming with their car full of stuff. Like I just unloaded a guy's SUV full of, granola bars and water and stuff. I'm just like, just bring it. Just bring it. We'll get it to the right people.
When you and I spoke yesterday and you saw the wipes and you were like, baby wipes. So I put that out, and they are there. There's more that are coming, so everybody can at least clean up a little bit.
Well, I will tell you, I never thought I would be so excited to see a thing of baby wipes in my life. My daughter is almost 21 years old. I haven't seen baby wipes for the reason they were put in place for a long, long time. But when I saw that, I almost cried like a baby. I was so excited.
I can attest to that. Your face and your voice, everything just lit up like, you had just won the lottery.
Yeah. People that are like that, I've got to say one thing.
Yeah.
I've heard grumblings about people feeling that, that it's not moving fast enough. It's not doing this. I could tell you from the town level to the county level, to Governor DeSantis, to the federal level, in less than 24 to 30 hours, the difference that I've seen on the island with the response. They have these massive military vehicles that are going up and down the island for anyone that's still on the island that wants to leave the island, helping them load their stuff up. It's the Air Force, it's the National Guard, it's private contractors. They are moving swiftly. They're putting resources at this very fast. So they're listening. They see what's going on. They've all flown over. They understand what we're dealing with. it's moving very swiftly. It may not feel like it to people that aren't here. And I've said it 1,000 times, and I'll continue to say it. Unless you've seen what is here with your own eyes,
Yeah.
you just wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
No, you can't. Now I hear Foley in the background. Yes.
Yeah, he's a little excited. Yeah,
He is. And, you know, tell him and his other canine and feline friends that people are also making donations of food and treats for them as well. So they're coming.
Yeah. He's mad because, you know, his bed, you know, his little day bed that he laid in is gone. You know, we call it his place. It's like his little place, and it's walked away. So now, you know, he's you know, he's been a vagabond like us. He's, you know, we're moving and we're shaking and we're doing, you know, doing what we can, and it's got to be tough on the animals too.
Oh yeah.
So somebody mentions, and a couple people have now mentioned an Amazon wish list. So I think that's what we're going to do for the power tools is put them on an Amazon wish list and then push that out that way, because that'll make it nice and easy for people to go on Amazon. Everyone's got an Amazon account, but you know, Dan, I just.
You know, help out any way they can. Southwest Florida, we'll take anything you're willing to give us.
Where's DeWalt in Milwaukee?
Milwaukee, Porter Cable, Ryobi. There's so many different companies out there that make the power tools that are going to be needed to
Gotcha.
you know, to help rebuild. We'll take anything if they can spare anything. Southwest Florida, Sanibel, Fort Myers, Fort Myers Beach, Cape Coral, Captiva. We'll all take it.
Yeah. The thing that I noticed, you know, what you were mentioning about all the professionalism of the people that have been in there, the National Guard and the federal government, it's clear that they're the calm, cool, and collected group that comes in. It's like the cleanup crew from the mafia. The guy goes in to clean up the dead. You know, I don't want to mention that, but you know what I'm saying? Everybody's so emotional on the island, and here comes, you know, all these folks that have been through this before, and they come in methodically. They know what to do. They're picking up a piece of wood. They're making sure that, you know, there could be something under there that's important. There could be whatever they're looking for. They know exactly what they're doing. We saw that with the National Guard when we were walking around with you. They all know the role, and they are all calm, cool, and collected, like they've done it 100 times before. And they're, you know, and they're dealing with the rest of us who are emotional wrecks.
Yeah, no, this is obviously not the first rodeo. This they've been trained to do. Now that they have the space and the you know, the time to be able to do their job, they're very swift. They're very thorough. I am impressed with how thorough, how pleasant they are. You know, they're wearing very heavy gear with headgear and gloves and lights and all this equipment that hangs off them in 90-degree heat, and they just keep pushing on. But they're pleasant. When they see you, they wave. When you know, they'll stop and ask if you need help. I mean, these are true professionals here.
You know, someone was just mentioning in the chat about donating Lowe's gift cards. I'm sure Home Depot too, and that's a good idea as well, because then you can get the stuff. Yeah. In addition to the donations, you know, there might be some things that you additionally need that you didn't think of. So that's a great idea.
So
just trying to think ahead as we get closer with all the donations that people have so graciously already donated and continue to donate from all over the country. At some point, we're probably going to need some people who have some very good organizational skills that are willing to volunteer their time to help organize things. And I'm starting to see that, you know, things are coming in and we're piling them up, but we need to get them organized so that when someone comes in, we can be swift to, whether it's water, whether it's utensils, whether it's clothes, whether it's shoes, whether it's whatever it is. So if there's anyone out there that's willing to volunteer their time, that's very organized and willing to, you know, to donate their time to help organize and to help hand things out, we'll you know, put me in contact with them. I'll be more than happy to put them to work.
just so you know, we went over $40,000 today. That's 48 hours that these people have donated $40,000. And I'm afraid to go to sleep to see what it's going to be in the morning. But we're definitely, if just so everybody out there knows, we're going to see an accountant. We're going to make sure that everything is transparent. Everything that we buy for the people on the beach, you'll be able to read it. You'll know exactly where it's going. We appreciate that you trust us enough to send in the kind of money that you're sending in. Even we've had a couple of at least 2 scam accounts, Dan, that are trying to steal some money from these folks that are donating to it, which is crazy. But I guess that's par for the course. You got looters down there. You got scammers on the internet.
Those who choose to do stupid and ridiculous, ignorant things like that, in my opinion, karma will catch up with them at some point. And, you know, at some point, everybody needs help. The people that are choosing to do this at some point are going to need help. It's pathetic. I don't even have the words. It's to see people that are trying to take advantage of a bad situation. You know, there's a special place for you.
Yep. Hey, Dan, a lot of people are talking about, that they would be willing to help out. Should they call you? Should they email you? What's the best way to organize that? I mean, for the organizational stuff and that kind of stuff that you were just talking about.
Maybe they should wait a few days until we know.
You know, both places that we're storing the product to get to the people. We're still working on trying to clean out our shop. Tim, my partner, was there working diligently with Bobby and everybody to try to get it as cleaned out as possible to be able to start receiving as much stuff that's coming in. So we're hopefully tomorrow we'll have that. Thank God those guys are there handling that, so that because I just can't be there. But my focus needs to be where it needs to be, and those guys have been great handling that. So once we get that ready, so that we can really start stacking things up, and that's when we're going to need the organization. And I'll touch base with you guys again and get it out there and figure out, as much as I would love people to call me, I'll help any way I can. But sometimes I find myself that I'm stopping and replying to texts so much or calls, and that I'm not able to do. It's not always the best use of my time, and so I don't want to tell anybody not to call or text, because please do. I'll get to you. It won't be instant, but I'll get to you.
All right, man. Well, get some rest, and if something new comes up tomorrow, we'll chat with you, and please keep us in the loop, and we'll just keep chugging away, raising money.
I'll do that. Thank you, guys.
All right, Dan.
Any specific requests? Anything else that you need that we haven't talked about?
Patience.
Okay.
People need to be patient.
I wish we could get a gift card for that.
Well, patience are free.
Yep.
All right, man.
Patience are free.
Have a good night, Dan.
Yep. You too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Okay, everybody. Just to remind you that the Venmo account is Edward-Ryan-14. There's no dash after the 14. That's the scam account. It's Edward.
Which I think is gone now.
Oh, they moved
I
it.
think it's gone. But
Edward dash. I would prefer PayPal. If you have PayPal, it seems like PayPal is going super smooth and no scammers yet, but who knows? Maybe tomorrow will be different. The PayPal account is at Beach Talk Radio. The Venmo account is Edward-Ryan-14. I wish it would make it easier to do something, and you'll see the picture of the two of us on there. I have glasses on and a hat, and she has fluffy hair as usual. So if you have a chance to go on the Venmo, that's what it is. You guys have been great. The money keeps flowing in. 100% of the money is going to go back to the beach. We're going to make sure of it ourselves. You can guarantee that. The other thing I wanted to remind everybody, the thrift store tomorrow, 11 o'clock. If you need clothing, go to the thrift store, which is on the corner of Pine Island and whatever that traffic light is. What's the
And
traffic
road
light?
that you go down
Yeah, that
Summerlin.
road and this road is where that thrift store is. Everybody knows where the thrift store is. That road and this road at the traffic
Where
light.
you turn to go on Bridge to go to the beach. Cheryl, it's Edward-Ryan-14.
Yeah.
Just make sure you
Isn't
add that.
isn't that what I
14.
said?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. But
So
she wrote it.
Yeah, Edward-Ryan-14. We've been getting mostly $100 donations. I mean, and that's sick. That's sick right there. $100, a lot of $500, a few $1,000, and you know, a ton of 20s and 25s. And that's really what's adding up is those little 20, I shouldn't say little, those whatever you can give is great. And the people that are coming to our house, listen, if you think you can come to our house, we have dogs and guns. So you come to our house just to drop stuff off. Don't think that you're coming to our house because we only have water and
Yeah, I didn't
Gatorade,
even
by
think
the
about
way.
that.
Yeah. So we're well protected here. Right.
Protect this house.
Summerlin and Pine Ridge is where it is. So all right. Well, you know, we could do this. This is like a 4-hour day today, and it's on Sunday. So thanks to Dan for coming on. Thanks to Anita for coming on. Tuesday is our projected interview with Holly Smith. She has not done any local interviews yet from Sanibel. I mean, Sanibel's been hit crazy hard. You can't even drive on Sanibel.
And you won't be able to for a while.
Yeah, quite a while. They were talking about at least a year to repair that today at the county meeting. So, and they did finally talk a lot about Fort Myers Beach at the county meeting today. The bridge, the little, I want to make sure I get this right because even Roger Desjardins mussed it up today. He had to get corrected. It's the Big Hickory Pass Bridge. And what he said today, which was really news, was that the little Carlos, you see, now I'm getting them confused, but the little Carlos Bridge, there's going to be one of them that needs to be replaced. So now at the other end of the island, we knew the big bridge was going to be replaced. The big Carlos Pass Bridge was going to be replaced. That's the first bridge that is, you know, between Matanzas and the end of the island. That bridge was going to be replaced. Now there's going to be 2 bridges replaced. What?
You're getting it all mixed up. But in any
There's
event,
2 bridges that now need to be replaced because of the storm. The one was going to be replaced no matter what. And then the big Carlos Pass Bridge was going to be replaced. There's a little and a Hickory and a Carlos and 2 Carloses. And they should have changed the name so they weren't so confusing. Why does there need to be a big Carlos and a little Carlos and a little Hickory and a big Hickory?
in any event,
There's some damage on the other end.
South End is going to be.
Jeff, what do you mean phone number? What do you mean by that? Is Venmo asking you for a phone number? If Venmo is asking you for a phone number, it's 3833. That's what you need to know. 3833. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. It's getting a little loopy time here. So we will be back tomorrow if there's news. And we will be back Tuesday for sure. But stay on the Facebook page. Please spread the word. We want to make sure we keep the story of Fort Myers Beach out there. And you guys have a great night. And enjoy the rest of the. Oh, by the way, the Giants won today. Can you believe it? To beat the Bears.
Wow.
All right. Bye-bye.
No kidding.